Alright y'all, welcome back. It's Albert LaBelle, and we got something kind of unique this time. It's another one of the products from Lockpick Mall. That's right, lockpickmall.com. So yeah, it's a product review, and this one here is what's so special about a padlock? Well, that's what's so special about it. It's a cutaway. Really cool. You might have seen a few of these around the internet. I have different types of locks that people have cut away, machined a lot of the lock away so you can see the inner workings, the mechanics of the lock. This one right here is done quite well. They got it all rounded out. I mean, it's all smoothed out. Pretty neat how they did it, because you can actually see pretty much every working part of the padlock. So over here, well, let's start at the beginning here, how a lock works. There are the keys that come with it. And by the way, they gave this one pretty good bidding. And it is a 6-pin. 6-pin cutaway lock. They call this one, by the way, the lock-picking cutaway 6-pin practice lock. So yeah, how a lock works. You got the correct key. You insert it. All the pins, as you can see right there, will go to the correct height for this particular lock. And then the core can turn. You see that core right there? The core can turn. Then it, as the core rotates, it's moving the actuators, or the locking pawls. It's going to pull this one that way and this one that way, pretty much at the same time. Let's see if you can watch that happen. You see it turning right there in the middle, and it's going to pull those locking pawls in, which releases the shackle from both sides. And you can also see, like I said, everything. You can even see how the spring works to push the shackle up. So we'll lock it back up. You can see how that works. See how that spring works on this side to lift the shackle up. And then the locking pawls, when we lock it, let me get the key out of there. As we lock it back up, you'll see these locking pawls. We can take a look at this one on the right there. As it swings back in, boom. And that's how they lock back up. Now, not all locks work this way. Some of them have locking balls up here, and they'll have a different type of actuator. But for the most part, there's a lot of locks that still work exactly like this. And these are the ones that you'll usually see us shimming, but they got some kind of plastic doodads up here. But since this is a cutaway practice lock, you know, they're not real concerned about somebody shimming it, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, they're very, very handy. Now, I wanted to point something out with these locks, these cutaway locks. Don't confuse these as, well, for me, personally, I don't consider these lockpick training locks per se. They're a visual training aid, okay? The deal is with that, for me, if you're going to practice lockpicking, you're going to want a complete lock. Now with these cutaways, they're excellent, again, for a visual training aid. You want to see how a lock works while you're picking it. You want to just get the basic understanding of how a lock works. These are awesome. But you have to consider, you got to remember, a lot of this lock is obviously gone. It's cut away. So it's not going to act the same way as a complete lock. For instance, the pins here, these driver pins up top here, since most of this lock right here is cut away, the pins are not going to act the same as they would with a complete lock. It's just going to feel different, and they're gonna act a little different. So, you know, it's good for a complete beginner. If you just now starting out and don't understand the workings of lock, this is a great training aid, because you're going to see everything. You're going to understand the padlock, basically. So they're neat for that. So let's see. Let me grab a tension tool here. That one will probably fit. There we go. And I'll try to do this for my hands out of the way. There we go. Let me grab one of my Sparrows. Just Sparrow's short hook, I guess it is. And I'll show you how this works. So I'm going to go down on the side over here and go back in the lock. Now I'm going to go back to that back pin, I think is binding right now. What we're looking for is the first binder. Now let me show you something. You see how that pin, some of these pins are just bopping up and down? Those are the loose pins, okay? So I don't want to mess with those at first. We're looking for the first binder, the first pin that's not loose. And it seems to be in the back there, the 6th pin. So I'm going to try that. Boom, right there. Alright, now I'm going to work my way forward, looking for the next binder. In other words, the next pin that's not loose. I don't know where I am. I'm trying to work through the camera. Right there. Working my way forward, looking for the next binder. Pin 2, right there. Pin 1. Alright, so now we got probably one more pin holding us up somewhere. Let's see if I can't find it. I dropped pin 2. And there it is. So once you get all the pins picked, obviously they're at the right height and the lock can open. So what we're trying to do, again, I've mentioned this before, we're trying to get all of them upper pins to the shear line. The shear line is the line between the edge of the core and where them upper pins are right now, that flat spot right there. That's the shear line. Alright, so that's basically how it works. But yeah, again, these cutaways, fantastic visual training aid. But keep in mind that there's so much of the lock cut away, it's not going to act the same way as a complete lock. Okay, so you'll probably want to start with something like this, learn how it works, figure out what you're doing in the lock while you're picking it, you know, visually, and then move on to a complete lock and progress from there. But yeah, it's pretty neat. I like the way they did the cutaway. It's pretty clean. I hope the camera's doing it justice. But you can see all the workings of the lock. Let me pop it open again for you. So you can see how everything, literally how everything works inside the lock. So yeah, pretty neat. So the, what do they call it? The lock picking cutaway 6-pin practice lock from lockpickmall.com. So yeah, check them out. All right. And remember, all these reviews I do for Lockpick Mall, if you, when you get to checkout, use coupon code Albert. Just type in my name, Albert, and you get 6% off until February 23rd of 23. I'll put all that information down in the bottom part of this video down there. All right. Thank you so much. If you're not subscribed yet, remember, you need to do so because all the cool people are doing it and you don't want to be left out. Thank you.